The coronavirus has mutated, and the second strain is more aggressive than the original. A group of scientists and researchers from 6 research centers in China documented the mutation in a report published in late February. It analyzed 103 cases from around the world, with the majority of them from China's Hubei province, where the virus first appeared. Keep in mind, viruses are always mutating, particularly RNA viruses such as the COVID-19 coronavirus. However, a genetic analysis of the cases showed that the COVID-19 coronavirus evolved into 2 major types, the S-type and the L-type. Let's take a closer look at each one. The S-type, which had infected about 30% of cases examined, is considered to be the older of the two and is likely to have appeared when the virus jumped from animals to humans. The L-type, which infected around 70% of the cases, is thought to have emerged afterwards.
When the coronavirus attacks a patient's lungs, those worst hit will have trouble breathing on their own. Without a ventilator, many will die. These patients in Italy are considered lucky. They have a ventilator, but there aren't enough for everyone who needs one. Even the biggest factories usually only make 15,000 a year. Right now, many countries around the world are trying to buy tens of thousands each. And even though manufacturers are ramping up production, they can't keep up with demand. McLaren and other car makers are just some of the private engineering companies the UK has invited to transform their production lines to produce ventilators. In France, this textile company, which usually specialises in clothing, has turned its hand to making masks. Each one is washable and therefore reusable.
Sirens blare across the Jordanian capital, warning residents to stay in their homes. Tough new measures have been put in place to stop the spread of the coronavirus, bringing Amman to a standstill. Thousands of army troops have been deployed to enforce a nationwide curfew after this warning from the government.
Anyone who violates the provisions of this order and the measures issued by the Prime Minister and the Minister of Defense shall be liable to immediate imprisonment for a period not exceeding 1 year.
That announcement led to scenes like this in one of the city's supermarkets. They, along with bakeries and every other business, have been ordered to close. People are waiting to find out how they'll be able to go and buy groceries when they can't even leave their homes.
Well, Colombia's president has ordered the country into lockdown from Tuesday. The nationwide quarantine will last until April 13th. In the capital, Bogota, residents are already getting a taste of what's to come. The city is carrying out a test run to help officials and the public prepare for extreme social distancing.
Empty streets, closed shops. The Colombian capital seemingly turned into a ghost town. But Bogota isn't in quarantine. There's no curfew. It's day 1 of a mandatory isolation drill ordered by the city's mayor. For 4 days, nobody is allowed to leave their homes. Exceptions include journeys for medical reasons, trips to the supermarket, and visits to those in need of special care.
The coronavirus now has 1 in 4 Americans living in lockdown.
Every American has a role to play in defending our nation from this invisible, horrible enemy. So we say stay at home and save lives.
On Saturday, New Jersey joined California, New York, Illinois, and Connecticut in ordering residents to stay at home and shuttering non-essential businesses to minimize transmission of the disease. Orders affecting nearly 85 million Americans. In the epicenter of the U.S. viral attack, New York, 10,000 residents have tested positive for the virus. But the governor says his state, like others, has a problem.
We do have an issue with younger people who are not complying. You're not Superman and you're not Superwoman. You can get this virus.
All railway services will remain suspended in India till the 31st of March. The decision has been taken due to the coronavirus outbreak, which has claimed 6 lives in India and crossed the 341 mark as far as the number of infections is concerned. No passenger train will be allowed to operate till the 31st of March. Goods trains, however, will be allowed to run from March 22nd midnight till March 31st midnight. Suburban trains and trains of Metro Railway, Kolkata, will be totally cancelled from the 22nd of March till the 31st of March. The statement also said that the Indian Railways will make adequate arrangements for passengers who have commenced their journey. According to the statement, the Railways will also provide full refund for all cancelled tickets.
Well, fears are growing in Hong Kong of a second wave of coronavirus. The territory had been successful in containing the first outbreak, but new cases have spiked in recent days. On Friday, the territory reported a record jump in coronavirus cases as thousands returned home from overseas. Authorities fear the influx of people could lead to a community outbreak and paralyse the city's medical system. Hong Kong now has more than 270 confirmed coronavirus cases.
Well, in Italy, nearly 800 people have died within the last 24 hours, bringing the total of deaths there to 4,825. A lockdown to limit the spread has been in place for weeks. Now, tougher measures have been introduced which stop people visiting parks, playgrounds or public gardens.
No children, just empty playgrounds in Rome's largest park. Even tougher rules that have come into force today say people can't go into them to try and curb the outbreak. Here for several weeks, schools have already been closed.
In the intensive care wards in Madrid, patients with the most chance of surviving are given priority. More than 5 weeks after its first death from the coronavirus, the epidemic is still on the rise in Spain. On Saturday, the country reported an increase of almost a third in fatalities, a trend which isn't over yet. The government is pouring yet more resources into the fight. 50,000 more health workers, 14,000 of whom are coming out of retirement, more than 1 million masks, and hundreds of millions of tests. The army's been deployed to disinfect train stations and airports and provide aid to sick people. For more than a week now, Spanish people have only been allowed out for strict necessities.